Hey guys, Sen here. Mountain Golem is one of the clan capital troops of all time. And furthermore, he's a rock type troop, and the clan capital is full of grass and water, which means for the longest time, the Golem was pretty much useless against every single district in almost every single scenario. But after buff, new troops being added, new spells being added, defenses getting nerfed, and new maps that favor his ability, the Mountain Golem is finally good. Okay, yes, your audio is working correctly. The Mountain Golem is no longer just the F tier power meme he was always meant to be. He has actual good uses now, and in fact, the number 10 clan in the world, you can see right here, is Web Rage Farm 5, and they use almost exclusively Mountain Golems in almost every single one of these attacks that they have done in the past few weeks. And not just that, they were not top 10 last week. They have been climbing in the top of the leaderboards in the clan capital, rising amongst all these dirty miner spammers at the very top and asserting their dominance with Mountain Golem. And this week they actually matched up against us at the Foons. We have completely max bases and very good layouts, and they took us out in 22 attacks. They made a couple of mistakes, they didn't go perfect, but 22 attacks against another top clan, like I said, with good bases and very high level is very difficult to do, and they were able to accomplish it with quite a few Mountain Golems. And let's break down how they have been using this troop with great success. And so here we are in 2023. This is going to be the first serious analysis that I will ever do for the Mountain Golem. Every other time I've used him, he has basically been straight up for memes, but now with this endless haste spell, once he steps inside the spell once, he'll be fast for the rest of the attack, and that has always been the crippling weakness of the Mountain Golem, his slow speed. Because he has a slow speed, even though he can move through walls, even though he goes straight after the defenses with high HP, he just takes so long to get from defense to defense. When there's 5 defenses firing on him, that high HP pool is just not enough to sustain him through all the damage. And also, the second problem is that he targets any building, including trash buildings. He gets so easily distracted because he costs 160 troop space. It's very hard to funnel him, but that is the key to making him work. That is the key that's been allowing this clan to succeed with him, and that is funneling the Mountain Golem as well as they can with the remaining troop space that they have in their camps. So he's going to use 3 hogs after a giant to go distract, and those hogs, as well as those barbs in behind, are going to take out these defenses, take out the trash buildings in behind, and cut the flank for the Mountain Golem, so he goes straight in after the key defenses inside the base that are also frosted. Because the endless haste works even when the Mountain Golem is outside of it, now you can actually bring a frost spell, and you don't have to bring double rage spells. The frost spell is a lot better at slowing the defenses as the Golem is hasting towards them. Now the Golem smashes the Tesla as he is splashing on top of the Giants, and he actually gets a little bit fortunate here in that the Giants arrive at a very fortunate timing where none of the other defenses are really firing at him. There's a multi-mortar, but that obviously doesn't matter as the Mountain Golem smashes through the Giants that don't do too much damage to him and smashes through the multi-mortar. And he's low now, but it's not that big of a deal. He's got a huge section of the base, the entire left section. He's getting over 50% on a first hit maxed out Barbarian Camp. This never used to happen before. Even if the Golem had enough health, he just did not have enough speed to take out this many buildings. And he's going to go down soon, but he's also going to leave that little death bomb. I don't understand why the Golem death damage is so pathetic compared to the Miner. It's not even able to kill a Spear Thrower, even though the Miner one is able to kill the cannon. Alright, buff Golem even more. Even though he's already good, I want to see him at the very top for the first time in his life. And now, you have to drop him on the haste spell, wherever you drop the haste spell on the first attack for the second attack, unless you want to bring another haste spell, which I don't recommend. So you also want to be careful on where you drop the haste spell on the first hit, and just consider where you might want to drop the Golem on the second one. He drops his first Golem towards the left side of the defenses and clears all these buildings over here, so you drop his second Golem going towards the right side and go straight after all of those right DPS buildings. He's once again going to cut the flanks. He used a hog on the giant cannon, he used a hog on the Tesla, and now he uses a hog on the right side Spear Thrower so he can send the Golem straight up the gut of the base. Once again, even though the Golem is infamous for being a noob troop, if you can strategize with him a little bit, he can actually get much better results. This cannon over here is very annoying. The Golem is skipping it, and so he's going to use another hog to take it out. He is just being mindful of where the straggling defenses are, and so that they can't shoot at him for too long. And now, even with the 2 Frostbell, the Golem is in the red, but for some reason, I've noticed that the Golem is in the red for just the longest time. No defenses seem to be able to kill him, and he's going to get through the rest of this base with these last 2 Hog Riders to stun those last 2 defenses. The Golem is tanking, and he gets a ton of bonus gold if he's able to survive through the end of this attack. And so this is the maxed out Barbarian camp with a very good layout down in 2 hits with the Mountain Golem. So here they are up against Skeleton Park. Now this district has historically been one of the hardest districts for top clans to deal with. It has a ton of slash defenses, wizard towers, multi-mortars, bomb towers, as well as those big slash defenses that are very anti-graveyard, and that makes this district one of those districts where you actually have to use other strategies against. But now with the Mountain Golem, he cares not for your big splash defenses. He's a big chunky boy, and he's going to go in up the left flank with the help of the haste spell. And this time, instead of Hog Riders, this attacker is going to use a jump spell up this right side of the hedge and sneak in P.E.K.K.A.s with the help of the Frost Spell. Look at that Frost Spell hitting so many defenses, the Minion Hive and both multi-cannons, as well as some more Teslas. And whoever thought that Mountain Golem users could not hit their spells stacking their rages? Well, this clan sure does. And if you use your spells well, it'll help your Mountain Golem out a lot more by slowing down all of the defenses as the Mountain Golem sneaks in up the left side. The Mountain Golem is also good against Skeleton Park because he's able to go over the hedges without the help of any rams. You cannot ram the hedges, and so he needed the jump spell for the P.E.K.K.A.s, and he's able to send the Mountain Golem over the left side. He wanted to funnel the Mountain Golem towards the left with the help of the P.E.K.K.A.s to send him straight into this rocket artillery up the backside, but like all Mountain Golems do, some things never change, and he's going straight in after all of the defenses, straight under the fire of these spear throwers, the Minion Hive, as well as the cannon, as well as all the other defenses, as he's trying to beat down the District Hall like a big, dumb, rocky idiot. But he's gotten enough of the base, and if he drops the Golem down on inside of the haste spell again, that means the Golem is going to go straight down this one tile or one building strong layer of defenses and go straight after the rocket artillery towards the back of it. And once again, he's going to invest the rest of his spells. The other big change with the Mountain Golem is now the Frost Spell only costs 3 housing space, and you can bring 2 more Frost Spells on the second attack. He's going to freeze the Minion Hive. The Minion Hive is one of the most devastating defenses in the clan capital for this troop because it's a single target defense and it has extreme range. It is so good against the Mountain Golem, but if you're able to freeze it, you're able to neutralize a lot of the threat that it has. He drops a second freeze over the right side. I think he probably could have hit this cannon if he was a little bit better, but it's fine. He grabs those 2 Teslas that also pop serendipitously against his Golem, and he wants to see where his Golem goes next. Now, if he drops his Hog Riders up this right side and tries to funnel the Golem into the Minion Hive, they're probably not going to get all those defenses with this reflector here. So he's just going to let his Golem do his thing, try to figure out where he's going and where he wants to path naturally, and then use the Hog Riders to cut the far flanks. Right now he's taking out this multi-mortar, he's going to go after this reflector, and now he's going to work his way down, and that means he should use his Hog Riders up this right side over here and try to cut the Golem into this Minion Hive. He uses the Larry Barrel and uses the Hog Rider to stun that last little splash defense, takes out the multi-mortar, and his Larry Barrels are going to do a great job at distracting all of these frosted defenses, pulling a bunch of traps with those Hog Riders, and that last barrel is going to be money, distracting that multi-cannon, as well as taking out a bunch of trash buildings so he can deploy his troops even closer to the base. His Mountain Golem is now low, but there's not too many defenses left on the map. Once the Minion Hive goes down, it's going to be free reign for the Mountain Golem as he works his way up towards the left side and those last few defenses on the base. He has a few more hogs pushing his way through, and if once again he's able to keep alive his Mountain Golem, he's going to get a ton of bonus gold, which actually matters a lot these days, especially for top clans. That 3x bonus gold makes a huge difference if you try to go for it in these raid weekends. The Mountain Golem alone will give you 480 bonus gold at this point. But the Jesus Rock now goes over the river and goes after those last few defenses, and that is Skeleton Park down in 2 hits. So not only is Web Rage Farm using a lot of Mountain Golems on their own, but they're also inspiring a lot of the other top clans to follow suit. This is the number 5 in the world, Splasher, and Akamaru coming in with a Mountain Golem strategy against the Capital Peak. An endless haste spell to lead him inside the base, and then a frost spell to free some of those defenses inside. Unfortunately, a lot of his manis get blown up, but that is okay. There's one that survives, and he's able to use a giant as well as an Inferno Dragon to snipe the enemy Super Dragon that's super exposed inside the base with no air defenses covering. And he also identifies that this bottom section, once the dragon is down, is not being covered by any air defenses, and so he can use a single pack of minions to clear a section of the funnel, as well as grab 2 more bomb towers inside of the base and set up a really nice pathing for this Mountain Golem to go in straight after this Spirit Thrower. He drops down the haste spell, drops down the Mountain Golem, and the Mountain Golem is going to walk his way right and take out all the defenses before working his way towards the second layer. He's got a Barbarian to start clearing the trash buildings up the right side of the base so the Golem doesn't get distracted, but he'll drop down the Frost Spell on top of all these key big defenses inside the base with a huge range as well as huge single target DPS, especially this single Inferno Tower. Now this looks like an absolute meme, sending in a Mountain Golem and not clearing the Inferno Towers, but trust me, I have seen this quite a bit recently, especially from Web Rage Farm. Those people do not care. He drops down a ramp to open up the wall as well as distract this multi-cannon over here. But the thing with the Inferno Tower now is that when you have a Frost Spell on top of it, it takes 12 seconds to get fully ramped up, and that's a lot of time to try to get your Golem inside. He drops down a ramp, he drops down a Hog Rider to try to stun that Inferno Tower and distract it for as long as possible so the Golem can reach it before it does too much damage to him. And just like that, in 2 pops, the Mountain Golem is going to take out that Inferno Tower, and it has not done as much damage as it would have done before. Also, the Mountain Golem has a special ability that he is heat-seeking towards Inferno Tower beam, so he walks straight into the second Inferno Tower for some reason, and he's going to get burned down. He does have the Zap spell to reset it once, but the Mountain Golem is already low, and he is not going to be long for this world as this Capital Peak rains down on him for 1 shot. So the reason why Mountain Golem is such a great choice against this base is because everything is super spread out. When everything's more clumped up, Sparky is more optimal, but with the Mountain Golem, with the extra haste spell, is able to move so much faster from defense to defense. When the defenses are not concentrated very well, that means the Mountain Golem is able to sweep his way through and not take too much damage. He started from down here inside this haste spell, and he worked his way all the way to the backside giant cannon like this. But once again, he's going to drop down his Golem inside the first endless haste to make sure that he'll have an extra spell to spend as a frost spell. He drops his first spell as a frost on top of this single Inferno Tower as well as this blast bow, and then the second one for this rocket artillery as well as multi-cannon. He probably could have hit this cannon. I think he should have hit this cannon. I don't know how that's not in range, but unfortunately that cannon is not frosted with it. It's not that big of a deal. The cannon is not the biggest threat to the Mountain Golem inside the base. He hit all the big ones. And he also does a very nice trick here where he sends in a miner to sneak in. All the defenses are either distracted or frosted, and so that one miner can get ramped up and with its death damage blow up that Inferno Tower even though the Capital Peak was shooting at it. And now that Inferno Tower is not going to get another piece of damage against another Mountain Golem. And at this point, you just have to let Jesus take the wheel. You don't have that much spare troop space. He needed to bring an Inferno Dragon to try to snipe this Capital Peak later. The Inferno Dragon is one of the best things to use up against the Capital Peak when there's no air defenses in the way and there's no good chain value on that Capital Peak. The Inferno Dragon is the way to go, so especially against these corner peaks that don't have air defenses behind it, you can use Inferno Dragons and help burn through all that HP without the help of a rage spell. The Golem is now low. He sneaks in the Inferno Dragon once the Golem walks in range inside of that Capital Peak, and he's going to burn through that, and hopefully he has enough to finish this Capital Peak in 2 attacks. So he uses his Zap spell to reset the Capital Peak and make sure the Golem takes 1 less hit, but he has 3 more defenses on the backside as well as some enemy defensive troops. He has 1 Hog Rider, 1 Ram, and 1 Barbarian left in his camps, and let's see how he uses it. He'll use the Barbarian up this left side to clear the trash buildings to make sure the Golem doesn't time fail. The Golem is infamous for time failing, but a Zap spell pops on his Golem. His Golem is now getting really low. Once it gets in range of this cannon, he'll drop in his Hog Rider to stun the cannon and try to neutralize some of that threat. And then he'll use his last ramp to open up the wall so his Barbarians can go ahead and tank for his Hog Riders. His Mountain Golem is so low. With the haste spell, he's able to dodge that log trap. The Giants are chasing him, but now that the Golem is faster, he's able to walk outside of the range of all those Giants and outrun the Giants for once in his lifetime. But the Hog Rider pulls this Zap trap, which is critical because that would have killed his Golem. That's around, I'd say, 3% HP or so, and his golem is going to go after the last few buildings inside of this base. The giant post, the giants are confused, they don't know what's happening, and suddenly the rest of the base is gone in 2 attacks. And now that we've watched all those top players use the Mountain Golem in the clan capital, let's see if we can't try to emulate and do the same with the Endless Haste spell. He's a lot faster and he's going to be a lot better against these bases. And we're going to go up against this high level Barbarian camp. It's not completely maxed, but all the defenses I believe are at least level 4 here. And let's go in with this army composition. Now I'm actually going to come in with a bit of a wrinkle. I'm not going to bring a Frost spell, and that's because I noticed that all of these defenses down here are free pickings for minions once I just zap down these 2 air defenses, this spear thrower and this air defense. So we're going to zap them down like this, drop down a pack of minions, and we'll have some rocket loons for these spear throwers as well as this air defense and any Teslas that pop up along the way. So we're just going to wait now. We're going to try to drop down the Mountain Golem after we've cleared all this on the entry. Try to drop him down around at this backside rocket artillery on top of this multi-mortar. We'll have to take out this giant post in order to do so. So we'll have to be very patient here. The Mountain Golem's a lot faster, so we will not have to worry about time failing. But we'll hold on to the second pack of minions in case there's an air bomb, in case there's a bunch of Teslas that pop that snipe the first pack. And we're just going to be patiently waiting for those minions to do their thing. Once they clear that little clan house, we can drop down 2 rocket balloons, and they'll take down that spear thrower and take down that air defense. Maybe they can actually splash the giant post on their own. Looks like they won't do so, but they'll also help speed up the minions as they work through the bomb tower. I need that giant post to go down so we can deploy our Mountain Golem a little bit further in towards the right side of the base. But it looks like those minions are not going to be obedient, so we'll just snipe down that giant post just like that and take that out, and then drop our haste spell around right here so we can finally drop down the Mountain Golem. There's a minute 45 left. Before that was a death sentence for time failing, but now the Mountain Golem can go in straight after the rocket artillery up the right side. We have 2 more rocket balloons to send him wherever we need. We'll use one to snipe the spear thrower as well as the Tesla, so I wanted the Mountain Golem to go after the other rocket artillery, but he's not being obedient today. Oh no, whatever. We're able to take out a lot of the damage, and now that Mountain Golem is able to work through those giants without being fired upon. We saved a little bit of HP, but that was definitely not optimal. Now we drop down a Barbarian on the bottom side, clear those trash buildings to open up the map, and so we don't have to worry about too much cleanup on the second hit. But we just have to pray that the Mountain Golem can still get his value. He's going in up against some Teslas, up against some cannons on the backside of the base. But I think he's already taken out a respectable chunk of the base, especially the minion trick with the zap spells on the entry over there. The Mountain Golem is still alive. He's still hasted up. I should have probably saved the Barbarian to try to snipe that multi-cannon, but that's fine. The Mountain Golem is going to get 55% and counting. Oh my goodness. Man, Mountain Golem might actually be broken against lower level bases. I did not really try them much until now, but now I can see their power and I can believe that the Mountain Golem is finally good as well. There's around 19 seconds left. I'm not going to try to sit through this. I'll just end the battle now, and so I don't have to make you guys wait. So let's go into the second hit. And now let's go in with our second attack, and like a true Mountain Golem user, we're going to misplace our first spell, drop that heal spell on the river. We'll use one frost spell this time and cover all those defenses in the middle. We actually maybe could have hit that cannon, but that was a little tight. That's fine, and then we'll drop in our Golem, the Jesus Rock, to go over the river and straight after that rock artillery. Let's see if we're able to take out this Barbarian camp in 2 hits. We should be able to, but let's see if we can do it with a swag heal spell. The Golem is in up against that enemy district hall. Because those walls don't have fences in them, those giants are kind of stuck inside there until the Mountain Golem decides to break open and trample those walls. Now we'll just wait for him to move his way through. We have a P.E.K.K.A in the deployment bar. We have a Larry Barrel as well as a couple of Hog Riders, but that Frost Spell does such a great job at ensuring that the Golem doesn't take too much damage. We'll drop down that Larry Barrel to go in like so, drop down a ram to test for any traps, and then use a P.E.K.K.A to go up this right side to cut the flank like usual and send this Mountain Golem straight into the backside defenses. That cannon is distracted on the Mountain Golem, so we'll sneak in a Hog Rider on top of this bomb tower. It looks like it redirects just as I say that, but it's fine. We'll use the zap spell like so and take out the bomb tower, and so the Mountain Golem doesn't have to worry about that on the backside. The P.E.K.K.A is now distracting, and so we'll use this Pod Glider to stun the cannon and take out that Mega Hidden Tesla, and we'll have a ton of bonus troops left alive on the backside of this building. That is a lot of bonus gold. The Mountain Golem is finally viable in the clan capital. So in conclusion, use the Mountain Golem against every district on every single attack, including the Dragon Cliffs. Alright, maybe that's a little bit too much, but the Mountain Golem, unlike before, can actually find very good uses, especially against more spread out bases with more spread out DPS. They're not enough to handle the Mountain Golem, especially when all of those defenses eventually get frosted up, and so the Mountain Golem is able to work his way through the entire base now because he is now fast enough and get you a ton of bonus gold on the second attack. But make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and make sure you join the Discord server if you haven't already. Take care.